All righty, friends, welcome. It is another magnificent Monday night. And tonight we are changing things up just a little bit and coming to you live from the kitchen. So that means that we must be talking about something other than the respiratory system, right? This is going to be fun. Tonight is our cooking class. And we have so many fun things, like hands-on kinds of cool things to talk about, that we're just going to jump right in. Now, because I am the hostess, here's the liberty that I am taking tonight. I'm going to go first and check myself off so that I can take notes on my gigantic Post-it note. Some of you know about Skyla's infatuation with gigantic Post-it notes. I'm going to be taking some notes tonight because I'm looking forward to learning about the ways that you use essential oils also. So my name is Skyla. I think I know most of you, but also we open tonight up to some other teams, which I'm super, super excited about. So my dear friend Heather, hello Heather, is here with some of her peeps, and I'm so glad to have all of you with us. So we get together every Monday night and talk about something that hopefully makes us stronger, smarter, faster, whatever, okay? And tonight happens to be a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and that's eating, okay? Food. And we have some excellent cooks in this group, and I am so tickled that they said yes to contributing to this class. So first thing I want to just let you know is that Young Living has a ton of resources that include cookbooks and recipes and all, a host of ways that we can use essential oils. But I do not want any of you to be limited in your believing that the only time you can add oils to a recipe is when it comes from Young Living, okay? So I'm going to encourage you, as we're talking tonight, to think outside the box and to be brave about reinventing some of your recipes with some of our vitality oils or even some of our other products, okay? So let's kick off tonight real quick by talking about oil storage in the kitchen. So this is something that I got maybe a year ago that I like to keep a lot of our vitality oils in. And I've got a few others in here, but generally the goal is to keep the vitality oils handy so that I can always find them. That little, it's called the Bamboo Rotating Oil Rack. It is a Young Living product, and it can be found on the Young Living Gear store on that website. So if you go to younglivinggear.com, it is available for just under $60, okay? So that is one storage option. Another storage option that I'm going to share with you comes in this collection. How many of you have the Vitality Culinary Collection at your house? Anybody? I see Paula's hand went up. Okay, so for a few of you, this might be new. So let's do a little unboxing, shall we? This happens to be a new one because I bought one just in case I needed a bridal shower gift or a wedding gift or something like that. So this is how it comes, okay? There is a very large box, and in the very large box are some utensils. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I might shock you right now. I am all about telling the truth, okay? You're never gonna get anything different than that from me. So here's what I want you to know. I would not encourage anyone to buy this set for the utensils, okay? Can we be clear on that? I'm gonna show you what comes with it. It is a whisk and a slotted spatula. I'm gonna leave these wrapped because whoever receives this won't want my hands all over them. This is more of a scraping kind of spatula, and then a spoon. Okay, they all have holes. If you like to hang your utensils, That's great. Okay. Don't buy the kit for these. Okay. They are not the highest quality. I'm just going to be straightforward with you. Okay. Don't yell at me later if you buy them and the handles fall off. Okay. Here's my theory. We do oils really well. Utensils, that's not our wheelhouse. Okay. It does come with the Vitality Culinary Cookbook. Now, this is kind of fun because it has a lot of recipes that I have not found in other resources. So that is awesome. Here is what I really love about this, okay? Couple things. Well, first of all, you get 6 Vitality oils. All right, in here you get oregano, lavender, cinnamon bark, rosemary, orange, and peppermint. So that is a really, really nice variety to do both some sweet and some savory cooking. This is the thing that I use all the time. I absolutely love it. It is a stainless steel bowl with a non-skid bottom. So if you plunk that thing down on the counter, it is not going to slide out from under you. And it has a great lid that does not lose its shape, and it has the little vent thing. I forget what that's for, but something about keeping produce fresh. If there are any Tupperware experts in the crowd, you can probably put that in the chat box. But this thing is amazing, okay? I love it. The other thing that is included in here that is out of this world is another storage option for your kitchen or wherever. And I will try to slide this out so you can see it. Oh, maybe if I get this out, it'll never go back. Oh, come on. I have one full right behind the computer, but if I try to pick it up, all the oils are going to fall out. So look at this. It's bleachers for your oils so they can sit and watch you cook and cheer for you, okay? It's a fantastic little shelf. It's branded with a beautiful little Young Living logo, and you can put your Vitality oils on there. I would say it holds about 24 Vitality oil sizes, probably a few less if you're doing the big ones. Okay, so that is the culinary collection. Pardon me while we get that out of the way. And that is available in the virtual office for $88.25. If you are interested, it is item number 24037. Okay, and it is almost full PV. You get 75 PV. All right, so Patricia, I do not believe they sell that particular oil shelf separately. I think that one only comes in the culinary kit. All right, friends. I am going to just share really quick a few of the edible Young Living items that I had like right here within reach. We may include some of these in the recipes, but I just want you to know about a few things here. So first of all, did you know that Young Living offers a 5-pound bag of einkorn berries? Okay, this is what you can make your very own einkorn flour out of. So let's see if you can see that. You know, those are darn hard to hold up, friends. Anyway, it's wheat berries, right? The old-fashioned kind. You can eat them, and they're kind of good. My grandpa used to let me eat wheat before he would grind it, and it was tasty. But you can put this in a Vitamix and grind it up and make your own flour, or you can soak them and you can make einkorn berry breakfast dishes by adding some apples and wolfberries and flaxseed and heavy cream and orange Vitality. And then there is a recipe here for toasted pine nut pilaf, which I think would be really good. I need to try that one. Some other things, we were talking just before we got started about the wolfberries. These are an excellent addition to baked items, pancakes, cookies, breads, that sort of thing. I just dropped some in my tea, and I don't know if, well, No, I'm not gonna fish them out for you, but let me just tell you, they have already about tripled in size from what they were about 10 minutes ago. So that's kind of fun. And they're flavoring and turning my tea red, which is kind of cool. So lots of fun things you can do with these. Einkorn spaghetti. This is another great alternative to our modern day wheat, which just has a lot of junk added to it that we don't really want to eat. So if you're not familiar with the whole Einkorn line, let me remind you that it is not gluten-free, okay, if that's what you are looking for. However, the nature of Einkorn makes it much easier on the digestive system for those folks that fall into the category of being gluten intolerant. So perhaps not if you are celiac, but if you are just sensitive to modern day wheat, Einkorn may be a great alternative for you, okay? Some other things that we like to cook with, well, not cook, maybe bake, make things out of, and just eat straight is the Einkorn granola. Hands up if you love this stuff. I bet a lot of people have tried it. Oh yeah. You guys, this is on our ER order every month, the 3-pack. Okay, we go through this quite a lot. It is great by itself. It's great in a bowl with some milk. Brian uses it almost every single time he makes protein balls because it gives them a little bit of crunch, which is awesome. And if you make yogurt parfaits or something like that, you can sprinkle it on top. You can even put it on your ice cream. Okay. And then of course, we have our 2 different flavors of protein powder. We've got the vanilla spice and we've got the chocolate. And of course, these are excellent just to make a protein shake with, but don't stop there. There's a lot of creative things that you can make out of these. So we add these to our protein balls as well. We add these to our pancakes to give them a little extra shot of protein. And smoothies, everything that doesn't really take exact measurements, we usually throw a scoop or 2 of protein powder in there. And then of course we have Balance Complete, which this is more of a meal replacement. That's what it's intended for. But let me tell you what, this is the stuff that tastes like cake batter. When I first started Young Living and Sonia Swan, my upline, was doing classes at a local coffee shop here in Des Moines, we used to always give samples of this and people would flip out. They're like, that is so delicious. It tastes like liquid cake batter. And I'm like, I know. So it's meant to be a meal replacement, but you can also get creative with what you add to it or what you put this in or on. So think outside the box. It's totally okay. The recipes tonight that, well, the ones at least that I shared with folks that are from Young Living came from a couple of cookbooks. So one of them is called From Our Fields. And this is available in your virtual office. And the other one, this one is not available, but I'll share it just because it's beautiful. This is called Essential Lifestyle. And I actually received this on a diamond trip when I went to Australia. One of the Australian diamonds hooked me up, and that was a really nice gift. So some of you who volunteered to share a recipe got snapshots out of here, and I'm happy to share any of those. And then another place that has a few fun recipes. It doesn't have a ton of edible ones, but it has a few, is this great book that's called Throughout the Seasons. And this is a little booklet that comes from Life Science Publishers. If you haven't visited them lately, you need to. It's discoverlsp.com. And this one literally goes season by season and has DIY recipes and food recipes to kind of pair with each season, which is fun. And the other thing is I just got these 3 little cookbooks. These are so fun. I was working with my friend Britta today, and she shared these cookbooks. So these come from the Back Porch Life. And I thought that they were available. Somebody can tell me. I thought they were available like maybe Growing Healthy Homes might have them, but it's called The Back Porch Life. And then she has a set of 3: connecting with family, connecting with friends, and connecting with America. And this gal, her name is Jess, and she just loads each of these with great recipes and talks about how we can add a little flavor burst with some essential oils or some products. Not every single recipe has a Young Living product, but I would say about 90% of them do. Oh, good. Michelle has The Back Porch Life. She is just a dear. And these pictures in here are cool. I will tell you this, the Connecting with America version, in case you have some family members or friends that like to hunt, the whole purpose of this one is dry rubs, marinades, and recipes for venison, game, birds, fish, pork, and bison. So if you've got hunters in your family, Connecting with America would be great. I just sat down and read through all of these recipes, and I might actually begin hunting just so that I can taste some of these. Okay, just putting that out there. All righty. Okay, I think that is most of the Young Living products that I wanted to share here. So now it is time for me, Julia Skyla, to share her recipe. Okay, I chose a recipe out of my favorite cookbook called Oh, How She Glows Every Day. This is actually really good, you guys. It is healthy, but it's not like one of those weird ones. Sometimes I look up healthy cookbooks and I go, yeah, I never heard of all those ingredients. This one, I feel like Skyla can do, and it's very doable. Okay, so I chose, because I have been on a massive hummus kick, I chose a recipe out of here, and I gave you a little teaser, but it's called Everyday Lemon Garlic Hummus. Okay, there's the gorgeous photo. And we, let's see, I'm trying to think about what the easiest way is to share the recipes. I'm gonna put a post in the Healthwise Heroes group that just says recipes. And I'm gonna ask everybody that is sharing tonight to post their recipe in the comments. And Heather, I know that you are in that group, so I'm just gonna let you grab and share, and you can put up a recipe post in your group too, if that's cool. And if there's somebody here that's not in Heather's group, you just let me know and we'll get you the recipes. But let me just tell you, hummus is easy to make, especially if you have a food processor. Who's made it? Probably every one of you but me. No, okay, good. I'm here to inspire you. This is my hummus. And it is amazing. And here's how good it is. I made a batch last night and we ate it all. And I made another batch tonight and I had to like hide it because they were going to finish it before our class. That's how good it is. So here's what I did. It has real garlic. Don't be messing around with that fake stuff. Okay. Real garlic. It has a can of chickpeas, garbanzo beans. I think they're the same thing. The juice from 1 lemon, so use both halves, juice that sucker. And I also added some lemon oil, but I'll tell you about that in a second. A tablespoon of tahini. Do you know what tahini is? It is sesame seeds all mashed up, and it's delicious and it makes everything creamy, okay? 3 to 4 tablespoons of avocado oil, and then a little sea salt, a little black pepper, and they suggested paprika for garnish. I added to that 2 drops of lemon vitality, 2 drops of basil vitality, and 2 drops of cilantro. And let me just tell you something, my friends. This is like a flavor explosion for your mouth. And I have some little sweet potato chips here, and I don't mind if I do. Yes, it's that good. It is so, it's like a complex, delicious flavor. So highly recommend that. Of course, you can alter the oils If you're like big old no on cilantro, leave it out. It's okay. You might like something else. But those three, I got a thumbs up from both Brian and Reagan. So we will call that a win. And after I mute myself, I will be just munching away on that while you all talk. So, okay, so that is my recipe out of here. The other two cookbooks that I'm just going to highlight because they have been very inspiring to me. This one is called Eat What You Love. Doesn't that sound like me? Eat What You Love. This one is by Danielle Walker. Okay, and again, these recipes are not too strange. Both of these cookbooks were recommended to me by my dear friend and Crown Diamond, Carla Green. Carla is an awesome, wonderful, kind woman who lives way up north in Canada. And she has done so much research on diet, nutrition, and all that good stuff. And then my new book that some of you have heard me talking about that I love, we're going to figure out how to do some classes on this, Life-Changing Foods from the Medical Medium. I am completely fascinated by this book because it goes through, let me find a page here that has a picture. So for example, it goes through a food like bananas, and it talks about the scientific part of why bananas are important. And then it talks about conditions that would be benefited by eating bananas. This is basically a desk reference using food. It's fantastic. Okay, and then symptoms. If you have any of the following symptoms, try bringing bananas into your life. For example, loss of taste and or smell, weight gain, weight loss, TMJ. Hey, I've had that before. Bananas are about the only thing you can chew when you have TMJ. Enlarged spleen, blurred vision, fatigue, candida overgrowth, diabetic neuropathy, bruising, tachycardia, constipation, bloating, diarrhea, headache, apnea, blurry eyes, blood sugar imbalances, food sensitivities, ear pain, jaw pain, muscle weakness, anxiousness. You get the idea. If you have any of those kinds of symptoms, bananas could bless your life. And then it gives a paragraph about emotional support from bananas, and then a spiritual lesson. It's the coolest thing. And then after each of those, it gives a recipe, which is really quite cool. And then in the back of the book, it also talks about wild foods like nettle and coconut and chaga mushrooms and burdock root. And anyway, okay, I've just sold these books now. Man, if I could get the commission on books, it'd be good. But I want you to have good information because our job here is to teach everybody how to fish, right? We can't be the dispensers of everything all the time. So I just want you to be equipped in your home to have good stuff. Okay? Oh, good. Heather has read. Oh, no, maybe Heather hasn't. Heather, you're just being sweet and typing those in there. Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, friends, it is time to turn this over to some of our fantastic cooks. So, Rachel Kiffel, would you be willing to go first tonight?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, I had to unmute myself. So
I will mute myself because I now have a banjo playing in the background.
All right. I have a couple recipes I wanted to share tonight. I wasn't sure what the format was going to be, so I'm not cooking in front of you. I made all these things ahead of time, but I'm just going to show you the item and share the recipe with you. And then I will post the recipes in the event page. And if anyone is not on the event, I guess I can post it in the Healthwise Heroes group as well. How's that sound? Okay, the first recipe that I made, actually, I got this one from Skyla, and it's the Luscious Lemon Bars. And I believe that is from the, what was the name of that spiral bound book? It's, nope. Is it from that one? Okay, that's fine. All right, so the Luscious Lemon Bars, yeah, I think so. Yep, I think that's the one. Okay, I'm going to try to show a picture of the Luscious Lemon Bar without it sliding off the plate. There we are, Luscious Lemon Bar. And I'll just read off the ingredients. And I did not have einkorn flour. You could probably use regular flour. It calls for einkorn flour. But I did have the einkorn berries that Skyla referred to earlier. So I had a local friend yesterday who lent me her grain mill, and I milled some of the einkorn berries into flour and used that for the lemon bars. And oh my, I don't think I'll go back to other flour. It really tastes good. So both Jim and I have been enjoying these lemon bars since I made them yesterday. And I'll be sharing the rest with my work tomorrow. But the ingredients, I'll just read these off. It calls for 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of the einkorn flour, which you could use another kind of flour if you choose, a half cup. It's listed in the recipe book as organic evaporated cane juice crystals. And I had to look that up because I'm like, okay, what is evaporated cane juice crystals? And it's basically sugar. I mean, it's not processed like the white sugar. It uses the cane sugar, but it's dehydrated down, and it retains the nutrition of the cane, whereas the table sugar is more processed. I did use just table sugar for this recipe. So that is the crust. So you just take your butter and your einkorn flour and your sugar, and then press that into the bottom of a 9x13 pan. Bake that for 15 to 20 minutes. And then you add the filling on top, which is another 1.5 cups of your sweetener, which can be your cane juice crystals. You could use coconut sugar. I don't know why I didn't think to use that, because I do have that on hand, or just your table sugar. Another 1/4 cup of the einkorn flour, 4 eggs, 2 lemons juiced, and 1 drop of lemon vitality oil. And I actually added, I put in 2 or 3 drops of the lemon vitality oil just to give it another kick. And I did also add some of the lemon vitality oil to the crust mixture. So that gave it a nice little flavor as well. So after you put the filling on top, bake it for another 20 minutes. And it is absolutely delicious. Love. I also wanted to share a recipe that I have been making for a few years now. And about 3 years ago, I updated it. I tweaked it to add some Young Living ingredients. And this is my cranberry sauce extraordinaire. And I just have a little dish of it here, but looks like cranberry sauce. Just quickly, I will share what's included in that. The original recipe calls for 1 cup of water. I use 1 cup of Ninja Red in place of the water. Really gives it something extra, extra nutrition, tastes really good as well. And then 2/3 cup of your white sugar or your cane sugar, coconut sugar, 12 ounces of fresh cranberries, 1 orange, peeled and pureed, 1 apple, peeled, cored, and diced, 1 pear, peeled, cored, and diced. And then I also add 1 cup of chopped dried mixed fruit, 1 cup of chopped pecans, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then I add 2 drops of Young Living, the orange vitality oil, 1 drop of cinnamon bark vitality, and 1 drop of nutmeg vitality. Super easy to make. Put the Ninja Red and your sugar in a medium saucepan until that boils and the sugar dissolves. Then reduce the heat to simmer, add all of the other ingredients except for the oils. Let that simmer for probably about 30 minutes or so until the cranberries burst, stirring it every once in a while. Once the cranberries have burst, take it off the heat, and then I stir in the essential oils, let it cool to room temperature. And I actually made this yesterday, and I will be serving it on Thanksgiving Day to our family of 3. So got all the yummy flavors melding together, and it's going to be awesome. Can't wait. So who's next?
Thank you so much, Rachel. Those both sound wonderful.
Thank you.
Cammie, would you like to share next?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Mine is super easy. It actually is from Young Living. I've had it a couple years. I've made it 2 or 3 times. It's called herb cheese ball. And the only ingredients in this, I'll try to show you this before. It makes 2. I gave the other one away to somebody who had lost a family member. So it's 2.5 cups shredded sharp cheddar, pepper jack, or Colby cheese, any combination of room temperature, 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese softened, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh chives, and then vitality oils of sage, thyme, and black pepper. I did not have vitality, but we're going to pretend that it's vitality. It did not give any amounts. It did suggest to use the toothpick method, which is just taking this and placing it in the orifice reducer. And then you can either swirl it into the cheese mixture. I've done both. I've swirled, and then I've also just poked it in and let it set for a while. You do want to make sure that you do mix this all up with a blender, or not a blender, I'm sorry, mixer. Make sure you mix that very well. And then you put it in the refrigerator, let it chill, form it into your 2 balls, and roll it into 1 1/2 cups of pecan pieces toasted. I forgot to toast mine, but I have toasted them before. So that is all that is to this recipe, and it is wonderful. I licked the beaters, and I made this Saturday, and I did 2 toothpicks of each one in the mixture of the cheeses. And like I said, you want to make sure you really incorporate that well. I could taste a little bit of the black pepper, a tiny bit of sage, and also thyme too. And I love it. I don't know why I don't make it more often than just at Christmas time, but it's really good.
That does sound amazing. And Cammie, what's your favorite thing to dip in it? Do you do?
I like to use just crackers, but I've also used celery
Okay.
and carrots, but I really like it with crackers.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next up, we're going to go over to Heather.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep. You sound great.
Okay. I'm just getting over a nasty cold, so if I cough, I'll try to mute myself. I made the Dreamsicle Ninja Red, or we would call it Ninja Juice at our house. And it calls for 1 ounces, but we tend to have the packets at our house, the 2-ounce packets, just for convenience when we're grabbing it on the run all the time. So I just put the packet into my cup, and I added a little lemon, tangerine, lime, and I couldn't find any orange, so I just substituted some citrus fresh, and it tastes pretty good. And so it's 2 drops of each because it's 2 ounces from the packet.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Anything that has the word creamsicle in it is A-okay in my book. Thank you, Heather. Okay, next we're going to hear from Lisa.
Hi, everyone. So mine is full on fat. I am sharing lemon crinkle cookies, and it's your basic cookie recipe. And I believe I found this on Pinterest a few years ago, possibly either that or from Cami. I can't remember which. But it's just flour, baking powder, salt, softened butter, sugar, egg, milk, and lemon essential oil. And you just mix it up, roll it into balls, drop it in some powdered sugar, and they come out looking like this and tasting amazing. So that's pretty much it. I've made them with orange as well, and those were awesome too. But those are my two that I have cooked with the most, and I've dabbled with a little bit of oregano, and I'm liking that too. So, yeah.
Those sound absolutely mouthwatering, Lisa. Thank you. Okay, next, let's come over to Sherry Bennett.
All right, so I did guacamole, and I have been making guacamole for a long time. So Skyla, you sent me the recipe for holy guacamole that called for citrus fresh in it. And I was going to originally make like 3 different kinds of guacamole, but it was getting late and I'm like, okay, that's a lot of guacamole for my family to be eating. So I went with my kind of my standard recipe. I like the Ina Gardner recipe, the Barefoot Contessa. And so I made that normal recipe, and it's usually, I kind of made a half recipe, and it's gone already. So it's a good thing that, you know, I saved a little bit here for me, but it's 2 avocados and kind of, this is a half recipe. So it's a half aroma tomato, and I kind of did just 1/3 of a red onion, and I chopped that up fine. And I like to put in a jalapeno, and I seed it. And I always use rubber gloves when I'm dealing with jalapenos. If you've ever taken your contacts out after, you will like never forget. So that's what I do from experience there. And then a clove of garlic. And Ina Gardner, what she calls for, she doesn't call for lime, she calls for lemon. So we're kind of used to doing lemon. So I did use just kind of a half of a lemon. I juiced it in there, and then I added the oils. So I have never really used this in guacamole before. I put my lemon usually in a glass of water in the morning when I'm, you know, drinking my water. And I usually put my lime in my Ninja Red. So that was kind of in my kitchen. So I thought, okay, well, what the heck? So I added a drop of the lemon, and I was going to add a drop of the lime, but it really wanted 2. So 2 drops fell in there. It did taste different, but it was good. And the guys ate it all up. I also put some black pepper in there, and I was wondering about adding the black pepper oil, but I was a little bit afraid. So that was helpful what you said about, you know, just doing the toothpick, because I would be afraid that might be too overpowering. I don't think I would try that unless I did maybe 4 avocados. So that was my recipe for guacamole, and it's gone. So.
That is the true sign that it's good, right? Awesome. Thank you so much, Sherry. Okay, next, we're going to go over to Joreen, and then Sherry Stevens, just a heads up, you're going to wrap us up tonight, okay? So Joreen, are you there?
I'm here.
Yay! There she is.
So I just rushed in the house. We had another appointment tonight. I'm doing the roasted tomato soup. And I'll be honest, I'm not following that recipe at all. That is a huge amount of soup. So I'm going to show you if I can do it without dropping stuff. So here is what my little food scale with a pound of tomatoes. And it starts out with 3 pounds of tomatoes. And it's just my husband and I. And I share soup with my mom all the time, and I make him eat tomato soup whether he likes it or not. But we don't do it that much. Not 3 pounds. Plus, I think that recipe was way complicated. So I take, just like that recipe starts out, and I just wash all my tomatoes up. And these are actually tomatoes that I got off my plants. I've wrapped them in newspaper and let them ripen in a cardboard box in a cool, dark place. So they're not, you know, like salad happy little tomatoes. They're a little soft and a little wrinkly. So this is a perfect recipe for those tomatoes you wouldn't otherwise want to eat. I cut the core out. I cut them into chunks. I leave the skin on. I do just like they said, and we roast those with garlic, and you can put onion in there, and you put your red pepper flakes on there. And I roast them for about a half hour at 415 degrees. And then I put olive oil on that too. And they get really juicy. I keep all the seeds. I keep all the skin. I pull that out. And just as soon as I can kind of handle it, they're still warm. Then I add my oils to it to add flavor. I put my fresh, wow, dogs. I put fresh basil. I do put fresh basil in it. That's another thing. I think it asks for 3 cups of basil. And this time of year, my basil's like gold. So I'm not going to use 3 cups of fresh basil for, I'm saving that for pesto. And I put it in my blender and I blend it. And if you want to add broth or you want to add vegetable broth, you certainly could to thin it out. I often will just add a little water because it's so flavorful already. I like the idea of the toothpick because that is exactly what I have to do as a toothpick. Otherwise, I end up with 4 drops of something when I really just need it a little bit. You can always add more to it if you have to, if you put too much in. But and I just blend it and then it's ready. If you want to put a little milk in there or a little cream in there and do cream of tomato, that's really good. And then the other thing I do when it's done is I put it in, you know, like a canning jar with a lid, pop it in the fridge. And that's how I store it in my fridge. It'll keep for 4 or 5 days. It's great with a grilled cheese sandwich. We just love that. And I do like it way better than say the canned soups you can get because there's no sugar. You get all this flavor from the herbs and the oils and the fresh tomatoes. It just, if you try this tomato soup, you will never go back to that C word, Campbell's tomato soup. So there you go. And
I love it.
I'm going to turn this around. Actually, I am really doing this.
Oh,
There they are. They're
yay!
cooking away. Oh my gosh. And my house smells wonderful when I do this. So I think if you wanted to be really sneaky too, you could probably throw some pasta in the soup, maybe some beans or some others and make like a primavera because it's that flavorful. So make it go farther if you wanted to. I cook fruit. So there.
I was gonna say, and Joreen is somewhat of an authority on cooking because she didn't tell you her whole background, but this woman knows her way around the kitchen.
I love to cook. I am a foodie. Yes.
And if you need help pairing wines with your meals, Joreen is also the local authority on local Iowa wines. Should you happen to come to West Des Moines, go see her in Valley Junction because she is a woman of many talents.
You can put oils in your wines too.
Hey, you tell them about that because I know nothing about that. What would you recommend?
Well, some of the ones you'd expect are not the ones to do, but like tangerine is great, lemon, lime is great. If you like a Pinot Grigio or something really citrusy, of course those citrus oils in a wine that you're kind of going, oh, it's okay. Put a little drop or even a little toothpick, like half drop, quarter drop, and you can just liven up a wine. It's amazing. Yeah, black pepper in a red wine is really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. She seriously has way more skills than any one human should possess. So, and we haven't even started talking about greyhounds yet. That's a whole other class. Thank you, Joreen.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay. Now, I'm prepared to turn this over to Sherry Stevens, but just before I do, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Does anyone else here have a recipe that they were ready to share? Speak now. Okay. You can still speak after Sherry, but Sherry, we're going to come over to you, my friend.
Okay, I'm unmuted, right?
Yep, you sound great.
Okay. It's funny because we just had tomato soup for dinner tonight. I think I have 40 quarts of it in my freezer. So that's what we had, and it is wonderful. I am going to be sharing a recipe from Against All Grain cookbook, and this is Danielle Walker again, what Skyla was talking about, but just a different cookbook. She has several cookbooks, and we love them. And I am going to be talking about the basil thyme vinaigrette salad dressing. And this is actually the very first recipe I made using my vitality oils, and it was probably 5 years ago. So this is before we had vitality oils. They were in the regular bottles, but what it calls for is, I'll post the recipe, but it calls for rosemary or basil and thyme, and then it calls for sprigs of those. So I just put, normally I double it. Tonight I made it up and I just did a single batch, but I'll put 1 drop of each in, and it calls for like several sprigs of the herbs. And what I want to stress with you is when you're using our vitality oils, instead of herbs, you got to remember the savings that's in this bottle compared to buying the herbs is unmatched, because you go buy, say you need some dill or you need some mint or something like that. You may buy a package of it, but if you don't use that in, let's say, a week or so, it's going to go to waste. And these vitality oils, 1 drop, I guarantee you 1 drop is about all you need for most recipes, unless you're doubling or tripling them. And, the value is unmatched, but not only the value, but the flavor. I always say I still put the other herbs in because I have them dried, but I always say those herbs are for the presentation, and then my vitality oils are for the flavor. So if you want flavor and you are not using vitality oils, you're really missing out on some of the best flavor you're ever going to get when you're cooking, with oils. And, something that this recipe is very easy. It's vinegar, honey, Dijon mustard, garlic, basil leaves, thyme, and olive oil. That's it. And I will post it. But what I want to share with everyone is, do not be afraid to incorporate your vitality oils in your cooking, because even if you maybe don't know if you need it or not, you need it. Whether you know it or not, it needs to be in there, because honestly, I've taken food to people and they're like, what do you do to this? What is that? What is that taste? And it's normally my oils. So, people that aren't used to it, they can really tell the difference. And you can't buy enough herbs, to get that 1 drop of cilantro, or, you can, but it's so different because our vitality oils are literally packed with flavor, and the discount and the money you save by using them, like this cilantro right here, I bought it this summer when I was making my salsa, and I had lime with it. And this cilantro, I can still use it next year. I can use that next season if I don't use it before then. I can get it out. So it's a huge savings. And then the lime, I have some lime here somewhere. And with the lime and the lemon, let me see, the citrus fresh, you always got to remember your oil that is coming from that citrus product is coming from that peel. It's not coming from that juice inside. And, you know, when you have to zest a lemon or a lime, you know, for a product you're making or a dish you're making, you smell that. When you're zesting that, it's like, oh my gosh, that smell is so overwhelming. And it just wakes you up and your taste buds go crazy just smelling it. But you got to remember that is what is in this bottle is the zest. It's the oil from that. You know, we're not getting the juice of that. We're getting the oil. And that's why it's so much stronger and it gives you so much more flavor. So, you know, I talk about the savings, the peeling, and just experiment. Never be afraid to use your vitality oils. You know, I do a lot of canning, and I can post some pictures on the Oil Gang of canning in the summertime, and I incorporate my oils in my canning even. And it's unbelievable the flavor it keeps in there, even in those jars all winter long. So, you know, anytime you're making a soup, you know, you put a bay leaf in in your soup. You always want bay leaves for your soup, but get some rosemary in it, get some basil in it, get some thyme in it, you know, get some of the vitality oils in your soups, and you know, you will get a whole new flavor from that. Geez, I don't know, Skyla, is there anything else?
I think that is just amazing. And Sherry, I echo your encouragement to just not be afraid. I mean, you guys, we're made to experiment with things. So this is just a really fun area that we can be creative. I want to address Trisha's question. She asked if a recipe calls for lemon juice or lime juice or orange juice, would you use both the juice and the oil? And I think that you might have answered your own question, Trisha. If in some recipes, it might call for 2 or 3 tablespoons of juice, and it actually is wanting that liquid to change the volume of the recipe. I think that in that case, it's okay to put that in, but for the flavor punch, I would still add a drop or 2 of the citrus to go along with it. Because of course our drops of citrus oil aren't going to make something runnier if that is the purpose. I can think of some glazes that I have made that have orange juice in it, that's actually an important part because it liquefies the recipe. So one of the other recipes I just want to mention, I didn't make it tonight, but I have a I usually do it in the summertime, but it's a chicken salad recipe. And you actually soak the chicken, you cook your chicken. I usually just boil it. And then you soak it in orange juice. And I love adding some orange oil and some lemon oil to that marinade. And then you mix it with the celery and the pecans and all the other goodness to make the chicken salad. But you talk about the most flavorful chicken that you could ever imagine. Add a few drops of that orange to the orange juice, and that is amazing. So could you use a rotisserie chicken? You absolutely could. For that particular recipe, I prefer chicken that is as neutral as possible. Like I wouldn't necessarily want a barbecued flavor or something, but if it's kind of just plain Jane rotisserie, I think that would be perfect. Hey, Sherry, Heather Osterheist just asked which cookbook had your salad dressing recipe in it?
It is her first edition.
Okay.
The Against All Grain. It's just the first edition one right here. I'll post a picture of it. Excellent. I think I have 4 of her cookbooks and I love every one of them. They're no dairy, no grain, and no sugar, no gluten. So
perfect.
A lot of good recipes.
And I'm just typing in the chat box. For those that might have come in a little bit late, Jean, we'll get you covered, I promise. I'm going to make a post in the Healthwise Heroes group for cookbooks as well. Heather will move that over to her group so that any of you guys in her group see that as well. And if you have I know all of us have favorite cookbooks. If you have some that have really blessed you and benefited you, please, please share that information because that just makes all of us healthier and wiser. So friends, that is all that we have for tonight, unless anybody else brought a recipe and you're going to surprise us. Now's the time. If not, yes, Trisha, I would be happy to share that chicken salad recipe. It's an old family recipe, so we'll make Grandma proud. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. Next week on Monday night, our class is going to be an introduction to the Young Living business and some of the changes that are going to be coming. So if you are at all curious about that, you may come and join us. It'll be at 8 o'clock again. Same bat channel, same bat time. So that's a wrap for tonight. I know everybody's hungry now. So
I want to thank you. This was really, really awesome. This is Kathy, and I can't wait to hear hummus.
Hi, Kathy. I know. Well, I still have some left, but
Yeah.
I encourage you guys to make some of your own. It's really healthy. And so I really don't feel bad. And somebody, I think Pat or Patricia, I'm sorry, Patricia asked about the chips, where you get those. Almost every grocery store now has some kind of sweet potato chips or veggie chips or something like that. I honestly don't remember which store I got these from, but probably either Costco or Hy-Vee or something, Fresh Time, something like that. So anyway, all right, friends, have a wonderful evening. Stay warm and cozy and have a good Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye, everybody.